You guys loved my last no cooking high protein meal prep so much that I'm gonna give you guys a part 2. That's right, no ovens, stoves, microwaves, air fryers required. We're making cold, cool, chilly and refreshing recipes that are super easy and delicious. They're meant to keep you cool as a cucumber while the sun tries to melt us. We're gonna be covering 3 days of meals for 2 people, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a totally indulgent chocolatey dessert that's loaded with protein and you don't wanna miss it. So stick around to the end. This meal prep is gonna give you 100 grams of protein per day while staying under 1,800 calories. So that sounds like fun. Let's do it. So, breakfast, my people. We're doing muesli. Yep. Now, this is not overnight oats, okay? It's similar. It has similarities because it does have oats in it, but it has so much more than just oats and, plant milk. Muesli is kind of like a chunkier, heartier version of overnight oats, but with so many more delicious goodies. It's more textural. You can pretty much make muesli however the heck you want it, depending on the kinds of seeds and nuts you have or that you like, and you can add other delicious things in it, okay? But here's how I like to make my muesli. I've got 2 cups of sprouted rolled oats. I've got half a cup of the dried cranberries, half a cup of that flaked coconut, unsweetened, and a 1/4 cup each of chopped hazelnuts, pepitas, and hemp hearts and chia seeds. Now, of course, you can sub other things. If you don't have chia, you can use ground flax. If you don't have hazelnuts, you can use almonds. If you don't have pumpkin seeds, you can use sunflower seeds. You see what you can do here? It's like, do it however you want, okay? And then for a little bit of extra flavor, we're gonna add just a half teaspoon of cinnamon and a pinch of pink Himalayan salt. Plus, we're gonna be adding 4 scoops of my vanilla protein powder here. This recipe really needs only 2 to 4 scoops of protein powder. About 40 grams of protein we're adding through protein powder. Does that make sense? And now, what are we going to do? What we always do. Give it a little whiskey. Not the kind you drink. Really make sure everything is well combined and that protein powder is very evenly distributed. Now, for the last part here, there's really 2 ways you can go about this. You can choose to mix in your wet ingredients directly into the big bowl of dry ingredients, or you can grab all of your mason jars and simply add a half a cup of the dry mix to each jar, followed by a half a cup of the milk and a couple tablespoons of yogurt, and then just kind of mix it into each jar. But for unnecessary aesthetic purposes today, I am going to do it in the bowl so that I can have nice looking, not messy mason jars. In goes 3 cups of plain soy milk. I use soy because it's high in protein, but you do you, boo. Plus 3/4 cup of my favorite high protein plant-based yogurt. Now we're just gonna give it a little mixy as we do around these parts. Smells like delicious nutrition. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna let this sit here and chill, like literally chill for like 10 minutes, okay? We're doing this because I want things to thicken up ever so slightly. And I mean mostly the chia seeds and the oats, because if you just decide to scoop the wet mixture into your jars right now, what you will likely do is end up putting way too much liquid in like your first 3 jars, and then you'll be left with a whole bunch of the solids in your last 3 jars. And we don't want that. We want even distribution of the goods. So let her chill and get thick. Welcome to 10 minutes in the future. Observe. See how much thicker that is just from sitting for 10 minutes? It's now like kind of the consistency of like muffin batter. It's not very goopy. It's nice and thick. Mason jars assemble. Okay, just gonna take the jars and like a measuring cup. This is just a 1/4 cup. I'm just gonna do it like a 1/4 cup at a time, roughly, into each jar until I've pretty much run out. And I should be able to get pretty even amounts of the muesli into each jar. So much for being aesthetic. And there you have it, folks. All right, people. So we've got ourselves about 3/4 cup servings of the muesli here. The macros are 470 calories and 22 grams of protein. Now, I will say that is a little bit less protein than I usually eat for breakfast, but it's still a very decent amount of protein. And to be quite frank with you, I am very likely going to be adding 1 to 2 tablespoons of PB Fit, which is powdered peanut butter, which is high in protein. That's gonna add an extra 8 grams of protein, which right there takes me right up to 30 grams. You can top this off in the morning with an extra dollop or 2 of some protein yogurt, some fresh fruit, some more seeds, nuts, whatever you want, pretty much. However you wanna make it more filling, just do it, okay? Into the fridge these go, and now we're gonna get onto our lunch recipe, which is an absolutely epic curried chickpea salad. Oh. Now, people, I have been making a version of this particular curried chickpea salad for years because it's just one of my favorites, especially in the summer because it's so crunchy. It's got apples for a little bit of sweetness and celery and onion, so it's packed with flavor alone just from the veggies, but we're also making a super creamy sauce with some vegan sour cream and nutritional yeast and Dijon mustard and maple syrup, and of course, a hefty dose of curry powder, which just makes this so warming at the same time, but not like make you sweat warming. It's just got a nice kick to it. And the real kicker for this chickpea salad is actually the addition of some extra firm tofu. Now, we're going to get right cracking on by prepping all of our veggies. We've got some carrot. I'm going to be grating up the carrots. We're gonna be chopping up the apples, the celery, and the onion. And we're also going to drain and rinse our chickpeas. You need 6 cups for this recipe, so that's about, depending on the size of your cans of chickpeas, about 2 to 3 of these. Once you've got all your veggies chopped, you can plop them into a large mixing bowl, preferably the largest one you have. And then we're going to add the chickpeas that have been drained and rinsed, and we're gonna crumble in that 1 block of extra firm tofu right into all the veggies, okay? Now this is the fun part. Now you gotta get in there with your hands and get a little bit aggressive, a little bit loosey-goosey, and we're gonna give it all a good toss. Why can I never pick a bowl that is big enough? You guys have seen me struggle with this particular bowl for a very long time, and it just stresses me out every time I make a big salad in here for you guys. It's just stuff all over the place, things flying out of the bowl, chickpea casualties everywhere. Now, moving on to the creamy curry sauce. Arguably, this could have been done first because by getting it done first, putting it in the fridge to chill while we chop the veggies, you would have had a colder sauce if you wanted to, eat this salad right away. But whatever, it's fine, do what you want. So we're gonna take 1 cup of plant-based sour cream. We're gonna add it to a bowl, followed by 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, 3 tablespoons of curry powder, half a cup of nutritional yeast. This is gonna add so much savoriness, and a whopping amount of protein. A big heaping tablespoon of maple syrup, and then using a little microplane, we're going to grate up 4 cloves of garlic, and then we're just going to squeeze in the juice of 1 big honky lemon. About 2 tablespoons is what we want. This will add a nice tang. And now all we gotta do is give it a little whiskey until it's nice and creamy and smooth. And you may add a few tablespoons of water if you must, if things are just a little bit too thick and maybe there's some chunky action going on, which we don't want. Also, don't forget salt and pepper, like I just did. Blasphemous. I'd say about 1 teaspoon of kosher salt would be sufficient. And as much black pepper as you like. I'm definitely gonna need to add a 1/4 cup of water. It's thick. Is this not the most gorgeous color ever? It's like sunshine yellow. Oh, okay, this is the perfect consistency. Obvious, obligatory taste test. Oh my God, incredible. I am without speech. Amazing. Now for the fun and dangerous part. Everything in my core, everything in my soul right now is telling me to put this in a bigger bowl. But I'm not gonna. Pour that sauce in, y'all. Just pour it in. Be bold, be dangerous, be reckless. Oh my God, is it gonna spill over the sides? I didn't actually think through how I was going to stir this because I was using my hands before and I don't really want to stain my hands yellow. Oh my God, but it's going over the edges. I'm sorry, this must be so stressful for you guys to watch as well. I'm sure you're just dying to know how this turns out and if I destroy my white countertops with this curry sauce. Don't fail me now, tongs. Don't fail me now. Okay, I think it's working. It's working. I'm doing it. Ha ha ha! Victory. Boom chakalaka. Can we please just for a moment, discuss the color of this salad? Can we just discuss? Like, come on, look at this thing. Look, I've got like food aggression right now because this is so delicious. I just want to eat it. This is pure unadulterated goodness. This is life. This is sunshine. This is soul, I don't have the right word for it, soul enlightening. This is so delicious. It's tangy, creamy, crunchy, warm, but cold at the same time. The apple just gives it these little bursts of sweetness and crunch. And the celery and the onion, like, oh my God, you guys. This is like summer in a bowl. An epic lunch or dinner. This has got 29 grams of protein per serving, 490 calories. You can add it into a sandwich, put it in a wrap, eat it on its own, add it to a bed of greens, add some fresh herbs on top. Seriously, just make this, eat it, enjoy it, and live your life. Just live your life. You know, I'm going to a big family reunion this weekend and I really wasn't sure what I was gonna bring. Now I know what I'm bringing. I love life. Okay people, good job. Chickpea salad out of the way. Check. We're moving on to our next meal, which is dinner, but it could also be lunch. Lunch and dinner are kind of swappable in this meal prep. We're doing gazpacho. Now, if you've never heard of it, fear not, it's cold soup. I said fear not, okay? Don't be afraid of cold soup. It's actually so delicious. It's made of literally raw veggies that you pretty much just blend up into a soup. I know, it sounds simple, sounds too simple to be that good, but it really is. It's from Spain and it's wildly popular there in the summer because it gets hot AF there. Also very popular in Portugal. And it predominantly uses tomatoes, cucumbers, onions, garlic, and a few other goodies. We're gonna be making it a little bit higher protein by adding in some silken tofu, and we're gonna be making some tofu feta as a nice little high protein topping. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna start with the tofu feta, okay? So I've got a block of firm tofu here, just pressing. I sometimes use extra firm, but often I like the texture of firm tofu because it's still got a little bit more squishiness to it, which I kind of like. Tofu feta is so simple. Grab yourself a container, one that has a lid, and we're going to whisk up a tofu feta marinade. It's gonna taste very Mediterranean and delicious, and you'll love it. We're gonna add a tablespoon of white miso paste, a tablespoon of olive oil, a quarter cup of water, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, just for a little bit of, you know, that feta-ish tang. Half a teaspoon each of dried basil and oregano, and a little bit of salt and pepper. That's literally it. Whisk it all up until it's nicely emulsified and well incorporated. Now we're gonna take our block of tofu, we're just gonna cube it up into small little cubes. They can be as big or as small as you like, but kind of smallish. Put the tofu in the container, pour the marinade on top of your tofu, close the container, and give it a good shake. Now, did I select a jar that's slightly too small? Perchance. Tofu feta is done. Now all you have to do is keep this in the fridge. It will stay good for many, many days, but obviously you should be through with this in 3 days, and it'll be delicious all of those 3 days. It'll be more delicious if you let it sit in your fridge overnight. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, okay? If I had any room in my refrigerator. Tofu feta, that was very simple. We're done, we're moving on to the gazpacho, okay? So like I aforementioned, a lot of fresh veggies that we're just blending up into a cold soup. Trust the Spanish people, they know what they're doing, okay? So we got 2 big honky cucumbers. We're going to peel them and also remove all the seeds because we want optimal texture. And then we're going to take other vegetables like Roma tomatoes. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna quarter them, scoop out the seeds, the guts, if you will, because we want smooth soup, no seeds. That's 2 pounds of Roma tomatoes that I'm using, by the way. And then we're also gonna we're going to take some green onions, AKA scallions, and we're going to chop those up pretty roughly. They don't need to be super fine. Basil, I got a lot of basil here. This is like a whole bundle. We need about 2 cups total of basil and a little bit of fresh mint if you want. The mint will add a nice bit of coolness to the recipe, but you don't want to overdo it on the mint. So this is kind of a taste as you go situation, and arguably same with the basil. All right, once you have all of the veggies chopped up and cored and de-seeded and peeled and all that stuff, grab yourself ye old blender. Just using my trusty Vitamix here. Use something that's high speed if you can. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start loading things into the blender and whiz it all up. But first, I'm just gonna say, this is a lot of stuff that we're adding in, a lot of veggies. I'm probably not gonna get through it all in one blenderful. It's likely gonna be two. Same situation for you, unless you're halving this recipe. So I've just got a block here of extra firm tofu that I've just been patting dry in a paper towel. We're gonna go ahead, add that into the blender, followed by the tomatoes and the cucumbers, a good handful of that chopped basil. We're gonna add half a cup of nutritional yeast. Now this is totally not ever in gazpacho, so yes, I am breaking gazpacho rules here, but this stuff is gonna add so much good flavor and lots of extra protein, and it will hardly even change the texture of the soup at all. In fact, it might even make it like creamier. Then we're gonna pop in 4 cloves of garlic, squeeze in the juice from 2 limes. This is gonna add lots of tang. Plus, we're also gonna add in some vinegar. Now, traditionally, sherry vinegar is used, but I don't have that. But I do have some strawberry vinegar that I made the other day that I'm super excited to use, and I think this is gonna add a really interesting flavor and just extra zippiness. We're gonna add in those green onions that we chopped. And then for extra creaminess and in lieu of olive oil, we're gonna add in 1 avocado. Now, olive oil usually adds creaminess and good mouthfeel and a good source of fat, but I want to kind of health this up a little bit more by adding a little bit of extra fiber, extra nutrition with an avocado instead. Then we're just gonna add in a cup of water and a good hefty pinch of kosher salt and black pepper. Oh, and we're also gonna add a 1/4 cup of tahini, I forgot to mention. Okay, so we got our first blender full here. Now this is not even gonna be the final color. It's kind of creamy looking at the moment, but I still have more vegetables and stuff to blend. So I'm just gonna take my first batch and pour it through a sieve just to get it really nice and smooth and kind of strain out any remaining fiber and solids. I'm gonna go and repeat exactly what I just did. I'm just stirring in both batches of the soup. Now I'm just going to taste test it. Needs a touch more salt, touch more pepper, and maybe a little splash of that strawberry vinegar. And I'd say this is like good to go. So it's currently kind of warm right now, a bit room temperature, which is not how you want to eat it. We need to chill this in the fridge. And then basically once it's cold after several hours, you just pour it into bowls and you slurp it up with a little bit of that tofu feta on top. My serving suggestion is a pinch of red chili flakes, maybe some more chopped up tomatoes or cucumbers, or even some more fresh basil on top, or even some red onion. You can really like garnish it however you want, and it's so good, it's so refreshing, you guys. And honestly, like I said before, don't knock it till you try it. The smell of this is unbelievable. It's so fresh and delicious. Not to mention that this entire meal, soup and tofu feta, comes with 36 grams of protein. It's wild. I don't know how we made it to dessert already, but here we are. That did not take us that long to get here, and oh my gosh, I'm excited because we're making no-bake chocolate cheesecake cups. Yup, you guys, these are so epic. I've actually made this as a full-on cheesecake, and the recipe is already on my channel, conveniently located right here. And oh my gosh, as a cheesecake, it's delicious. But as a cheesecake in a cup, so convenient, so quick, and you don't even have to make a crust. It's just the cheesecake filling that you can scoop out and eat as like a thick cheesecakey mousse. Oh my gosh, it's amazing, and it has 14 grams of protein per cup. Let's do it. We're using tofu as our main protein source with some cashews. I've got some soaking right here. They're nice and plumped up after soaking for a little while. You're gonna need a food processor for this bad baby, so pull it out, and we're pretty much adding everything to a food processor and blending, much like our last recipe. So the first step is to take half a cup of semi-sweet vegan chocolate chips. You could also use dark chocolate or a vegan milk chocolate if you can find it. We're just gonna melt it in the microwave until it's nice and smooth and drippy. Easy peasy. I guess that technically breaks my no bake, no cook rule. But hey, whatever, it's fine. I'm willing to overlook it if you are. Once your chocolate is nice and silky smooth and melty, we're gonna take our tofu, we're going to crumble it into the bowl of our food processor, followed by our cashews we've drained, pour in the melted chocolate chips, followed by 3/4 of a cup of sifted cocoa powder. If you're feeling extra fancy, you could always use cacao. We're gonna use 1/2 cup of granulated sweetener. Now I'm just using a blend of monk fruit and erythritol, so it's 0 calories, just to kind of reduce the refined sugar intake in this recipe. But you do you. You can use sugar if you want. A teaspoon of vanilla, plus a couple tablespoons of tahini for amazing creamy mouthfeel and the most delicious flavor. Plus a couple tablespoons of soy milk and 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. This is kind of gonna give that cheesecakey tang without tasting like lemon, I promise. And then all you have to do is blend it up on high speed for about a minute or so until it's totally creamy and smooth. Now, you might need to add a couple extra tablespoons of plant milk as you go, just to kind of help things blend a little bit easier, which is what I'm gonna do right now. Not a lot. And this will probably take a good 3 to 4 minutes to blend until it's completely smooth, like cheesecake. Y'all, I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this. Oh, baby, do you see how thick and creamy that is? Oh, sweet heavens to Betsy. Okay, obviously, we need an obligatory taste test. But first, can you just, for a moment, admire? Oh my God. You guys, you're in for it. You're in real trouble now. Once you make this, this is the only chocolatey dessert you're ever gonna wanna make. That is cheesecake. This is gonna be twice as good when it's really cold and thickened up in the fridge overnight. Oh, by the way, if I didn't mention already, less than 300 calories, 14 grams of protein. Gonna sneak in another bite there. Somebody stop me.